We're so back. What's up, gang? So I reached out to you guys on Instagram and asked if you wanted a Q&A video, and you guys were like, hell yeah. So here I am with your questions, and we're just gonna have a fun time. First question is, how is your school stuff going? This is probably because I've been really inconsistent with my posts. I also post about school a lot, so it's probably because of that too. If you aren't aware, I'm currently a freshman at Ringling College of Art and Design. It's been fantastic. I've wanted to go to this school since I was in 8th grade, and so far, got all A's. I'm just about to start spring semester, but overall, it's been a great experience. The professors are great, the people here are awesome, I've made some great friends, found my roommate for next year, so that's awesome too. Overall, aside from being a little homesick sometimes, it's been great. I got a couple questions asking me what my style inspiration is. Nowadays, I don't really know, but if I go back and look at my old art, I can definitely pinpoint it. One of the first things that got me into drawing was the Warrior Cats fandom, and I watched a lot of, what was her name? It wasn't Tennille Flowers, it was North Flower. I watched a lot of North Flower, so you can see a lot of her art in my early art. And then as I grew up, I started watching shows like Steven Universe and Star vs. the Forces of Evil, so that CalArts art style started taking over. I drew a lot of like chibi stuff. And then when I started taking art seriously as a job, I wanted to work at Disney like every young artist wants to do. So I started studying a lot of like Disney concept art. If you know, you know what concept art I'm talking about. And like I said, nowadays I'm not really sure. I think it's kind of just a combination of things. I have a really hard time picking out what art style I want to use for school assignments because I consider myself a very like versatile person. I think being involved in so many different kinds of media has contributed to me having a lot of different styles, and I think that's a good thing. Who is your favorite OC? I think that's very obvious if you look at my Instagram feed, which is filled with this cat girl looking character named Ivy, who is my half tabaxi ranger D&D character. I love her to death. She is like my most fun character to draw. I do have other OCs. You wouldn't really know about them though, because I don't draw them a lot. A lot of my work nowadays is either for school, where I'm coming up with new concepts, or it's for videos or reels, which a lot of the time is just me drawing my persona over and over and over again. If you guys would like to see more work of my OCs, they don't really have super developed stories, but I like their designs. Let me know. I think that would be really fun. Have you seen Transformers 1? No, I haven't. The only thing I remember from the Transformers movies is thinking that Bumblebee is kinda... Is every pee-pee a poo-poo time? And is every poo-poo a pee-pee time? Okay. Every poo-poo is a pee-pee time. I think we all know this, but not every pee-pee is a poo-poo time. This is like going back to 10th grade geometry, where it's like, is a square always a rectangle, or is a rectangle always a square? 10 out of 10 question, thank you. How old are you? I turned 21 in September of this year. Happy New Year, by the way. I feel like I surprise a lot of people on campus when I tell them that I'm 20, because that's usually followed up with I'm a freshman, and the majority of college freshmen are usually between the ages of 18 to 19. So when they learn like I'm 20, turning 21, and I'm still in my first year of college, they're like, well, what the hell were you doing before this? What kind of sandwich you got there? Peanut butter and jelly. What software do you use for your art and animation? I use a lot of different software, and it mostly just depends on the context in which I'm creating my work. If I don't have my setup with me and I'm traveling, I'll use Procreate to do some work, whether that's art or animation, because you're able to do both. I think it's a pretty alright application. I'm not as much of a diehard fan as my classmates are of the app, but it's pretty good. If I do have my setup with me, which is how I prefer to work, I love Photoshop so much. Photoshop is my baby. I hate Adobe, but I love Photoshop. if I'm actually like sitting down and doing frame by frame animation at my setup, I use Krita, which is just like an application that you can do frame by frame animation in. That is the application that I first learned how to animate in, and Adobe Animate scares the shit out of me, so I will not be learning how to animate with Flash. If I'm doing animations that are more tweening based, I edit everything on Sony Vegas Pro 15. I love that application. I'll probably try and learn Premiere Pro at some point, but until then, I love Sony. Favorite and least favorite holiday. I'm basic, I love Halloween. It's just fun to be able to dress up and not have people look at you weird. I have never been to a convention before. I'm planning on it. I want to, but until then, I only cosplay when the world says that it's socially acceptable to do so. Least favorite holiday? Probably Valentine's Day. I don't vehemently hate it, but I understand why people dislike it. It's kind of just a corporate scheme to raise prices on food and flowers and candy so you can show your partner how much you love them, I guess. Oh, this is a spicy question. Do you feel that beginner artists should be focused on finding an art style? No, they should not. And I hate that there's a push for that. I hate that there are so many people on YouTube that are like, how to find your style, how to identify your art style. Shut up. Stick to teaching the fucking basics.
All right, sweetie, you ready to get some new notebooks and protractors and slacks?
I want blue jeans.
You're getting slacks!
Your style is going to grow with you and evolve as you grow. You're gonna notice, I like drawing hands a little bigger. I like drawing eyelashes kind of funky. I like drawing this black upper lip, which same, me too, girl. Your style is going to come along the way as you learn how to draw more and as you practice more and more, which is the best art tip that I can give. Just draw a lot. What's a pet peeve you have with the art community? I have a lot. People bug me. I think one that stands out a lot to me is people who make character designs or like personifications of things that don't need character designs. For example, why the hell are we personifying diseases and making them kawaii anime girls so we can get millions of views? I think my main pet peeve with the art community is lavender talent. What's a hot take you have about art/artists? Heads are about to roll right now, I swear to God. Do not attack me. If you constantly hide behind a style and never create work that diverges from that, you will never get hired. Let me take an amazing artist, for example, Steven Silver. If you don't know who Steven Silver is, he did all of the concept art and character design for the show Danny Phantom. The Danny Phantom style is incredibly recognizable and so well known, but that's not all that Steven can do. If you just scroll down his Instagram, you can see how versatile he is in his work and even in his mediums. This man is an amazing artist, and there's a reason why he's so well known and why he's still so hireable. It's because he's able to fit his work to the needs of his client. If you're constantly hiding behind your style and you're saying, oh, well, I don't do detailed shading or painting or backgrounds because that's just a part of my style, that's you essentially saying, I don't do these things because they're too hard for me. And unfortunately, all that does for you is decrease the amount of people who are willing to trust and hire you. What does your character design process look like? That depends. If I'm making one from scratch and I really want it to look professional and be the best that it can be, I do a pretty long process, but it creates the characters that I'm proudest of. If I'm kind of making one up on the spot or I have a prompt on me, then a lot of the time it's just referring to my knowledge of color schemes, whether it be analogous, monochromatic, split complementary, whatever you want to do, and then really focusing on silhouette. That's the one thing that doesn't change, whether I'm making a professional design or a more casual design, is how can I make this character stand out or make people recognize it immediately as belonging to a certain media or a certain kind of category of people or species. If you want a really insightful idea on how to do character design well, I highly recommend checking out Nicholas Cole and his work. It's really good, he's super talented, could not recommend him more. Favorite song of all time, TKM by Boy Pablo. It's been my favorite song since freshman year of high school. Please go listen to it, it's so good. And our final question of this Q&A is thoughts on furries. God damn it.